Bitcoin's not at 100,000 yet. A lot of people are upset about that. It's understandable. I get it, especially because most people had super high expectations for Bitcoin to pretty much be at 100,000 by now because it's the halving. In this video, guys, we're going to be going through the progress of the Bitcoin halving this year, which is the fourth Bitcoin halving in history. If you don't know what the Bitcoin halving is, guys, be sure to check out one of our videos that we have uploaded on this channel describing what it is and how it works and why it is significant to Bitcoin. The Bitcoin halving progress has already been a couple months gone by so far, and I've been receiving a lot of messages from people who are pretty much upset about the price. And we can't be upset about price in the market, guys, because we can't control the market. So we have to detach ourselves from that emotional, upset feeling in the market. Being upset about price and what the market does isn't going to help you in your trading, and that's not a good habit. So first of all, for everybody that's kind of freaking out and panicking about Bitcoin, try to take away the emotion, right? Understand we're still very early pretty much in the halving progress. We've only done about 5% so far in the progression. If you look at the chart here in front of us, there's still a good amount and a lot more time to go. And we're gonna look at the chart here today and look at where Bitcoin's at and where Ethereum's at and where they could go. But one thing I wanna show you guys is this, the next chart. So the first chart shows us the progress so far. Now, a lot of people don't understand that halving isn't like a Forex news event. You know, when Forex NFP or when Jerome Powell speaks or FOMC comes out, what does the market do? It goes up or it goes down like crazy, right? The halving's not a news event like that, like a Forex news event where it's gonna impact the market right away. It's a protocol. It's a process that goes over time. So understand that it's not like a news event, and that's how most people treated the halving this year. I saw it all over the community, all over the space. Most people treated the halving as if it's just gonna catapult Bitcoin up in April or in May. That doesn't happen. If you go look at past cycles, that doesn't actually happen. The market will go up closer to the end of the year. Look at the chart here in front of us, because what's interesting about the Bitcoin halving is it coincides with the US presidential election year. What is it this year? 2024. I'm sure a lot of you guys saw the Donald Trump versus the Joe Biden debate, right? Let's not talk about that. Let's not get into politics here on this one. But anyway, if you look at the chart in front of us here, it shows how the halving in the Bitcoin price history, it logs in with the US election. If you look at 2012, Obama, and then we had our first halving. After that, the halving occurred before the elections. So if you look at 2012, we had Obama already kind of in, and then we had halving. Second halving happened, and then came Trump. So the elections always happen in November for the US. I think it's November 3rd, 4th, or 5th, around those exact dates, around that timeline. Trump 2016 was in November. Biden 2020 was in November, and then we have the 2024 election coming up in November. We talk about when price can go parabolic. It looks like there's still a lot of time here until we start going up, actually, if you consider when the election is. At the time I'm recording this video, it's July 3rd. It looks like there's still a lot of time left for this to potentially go parabolic, as we like to say. I've been in Bitcoin for 8 years now, so I've seen parabolic stages, and you know when they're happening. It was kind of like this year in March recently, after the ETFs got announced, Bitcoin and everything went up crazy for about a month and a half around that period of time. So when I look at this price scale here, it shows me that there's still time, and the people panicking don't realize how much time is left. So I'm gonna now go over to the live charts, and we're gonna talk about some things here. This is the time I think to be DCAing in the market, because if we look at the price of Bitcoin, it's dropping. What do most people do? They end up buying high or they end up selling low. Most retail traders, most average people get into crypto higher than they wanted to, or when it's kind of too late near the end of the cycle. Right now is a good dollar cost strategy system, because if you look at the price of Bitcoin, we're on a slight decline. For the last couple of weeks, Bitcoin has been dropping. So this is a good time to consider that the price could keep falling even towards the 50 $50,000 level, which is a prime price that I'm gonna keep marked. Right now, the market is testing 60,000. I believe if we break underneath 60,000, that's gonna give us some room to go towards the $50,000 level. And if we can get closer towards there, think about how much price dip that is, which gives us room to potentially dollar cost average strategy if the price is gonna come down to 50,000. Bitcoin looks like it could go for more of a correction here. If we go to the monthly chart and we look, we're still above previous all-time highs. So on smaller time frames, you really have to pay attention to this key level at 60,000 and then this key level at 50,000. This is kind of the area where I see price either creating that support and resistance. These are the areas where I see price potentially creating that support and having more bullish momentum from. If you look to the left of the chart, you can see how we've marked 60,000 here flat using the whole numbers. For the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months, we've stayed above that price. So as long as we maintain 60,000, Bitcoin still looks pretty good. It could wick below it to like 58, 57. But if we get a really strong close below 60, then I would expect the market to come down to the 50s. And that is a potential place to DCA the market as it goes down. So 60 could potentially hold in coming weeks. But honestly, guys, if you look at what I just showed you, it doesn't really matter if 60 doesn't hold. We don't have to sit here and be like, 60 has to hold, because there's still a lot of time for this to go up. Even if Bitcoin drops down to 50,000, let's say in the next 2-3 weeks, we see 50,000. Is that terrible? I wouldn't say so, because that just gives it more room to catapult back to the upside. It could go from 50,000 all the way up to 90,000, and that would be almost a 90% gain. If you look at Bitcoin, anytime that it's corrected in this uptrend, if we go back to this uptrend that we've been in on Bitcoin for quite some time now, and we go back to any time it's fallen, and we look at some of these dips, this dip was 23%. This dip right here, 20%. If we look at this dip, 21%. Anytime the market dips, we could see it rallies back up. Here's another dip that went for 21%. So our last big dip, and right now we're getting big dips. Right now we have a 23% dip, right around that 60K region. If we go back and we just look at this year, this is one of the biggest dips we've had since the beginning of the year, since over here, where price dipped about 23% there. You can see back here, price dipped 23%. And then what did it do? It went up 58%. And then price again dipped 21%. And what did it do? It went up over 70% and more. This last dip, which was caused by the ETF, way over here to the left, this dipped 21%. After that, it rallied up 90%. So see how these dips give you those 50, 60, 70 to 80, 90% catapults. A dip really just catapults and sets the market up for a bigger move, right? When it's in an uptrend. So if you look at Bitcoin, what if it dipped down to 50? That would be a 34% drop. But in my eyes, that would set it up for the next 80, 90% catapult, right? So this is some insight, some outlook on Bitcoin, guys, because Bitcoin, Ethereum, crypto update video, it's 3 days later since the recording of the last video, and the market's moved a lot in the time being. So I wanted to make a quick update and reevaluate some things and explain why it is important to not lump sum all your money in crypto at once and really be patient in the markets. You can't time the markets. You can't predict what the markets are gonna do every day, every week. You gotta follow a long-term plan. My long-term plan is DCAing on the dips. I like to always have cash set aside for times like this, because the market doesn't go up forever and the market also doesn't go down forever. I know this, but I've been trading now for about 9 years, And there's been a lot of times I've put 6 figures, multiple 6 figures, even 7 figures in the market at one time, all at one price. And doing that costed me in the long run. In short term, I may be thinking market could go up. I got to get all my money in right here, right now. What if it goes up? But honestly, I've been doing this for 9 years, and most of the time it's played out in the way of I've had time. There's a lot of time to invest in the market and wait for the right moments. And the DCA strategy is something we talked about in our last video. And here's the quick update on Bitcoin. As you can see, on our last video, we were talking about Bitcoin being around that $60,000 level, how it could head to 50,000. What's important here on the chart is whole numbers. What do I like to wait for when it comes to cryptocurrency, where I'm looking to buy and do these DCA strategies, is at or around the whole numbers. If you look at Bitcoin right now, we're at 55,000 right now. That's in the middle of 60 and 50,000, so halfway. The price could still go to 50,000, and that's around the area where I would be looking to DCA into Bitcoin as it's dropping here. Most traders are freaking out right now because they put all their money in around 70,000, 68,000, 69,000, and a bit lower. They put 100% of what they're ready to invest at that one price. Now they have no buying power and they have to wait for the market to go back up. Most of those traders end up selling right now so they can take less of a loss and then rebuy the market. It kind of makes no sense, right? So lump summing the market, notice with Bitcoin how much time it's given people to buy in the last 2 months. Bitcoin's chilled, so people have had time to put all their money in at once. Versus now you see price dropping, now's the time you want to be buying, when people are freaking out and fearful. Next thing we're going to go over real quick in this update, guys, is Ethereum. We're going to do a quick Ethereum analysis here because a lot of people have been asking about Ethereum. I'm really big into Bitcoin and Ethereum. There's a lot of other coins out there like alternative coins, but those are super risky because they can drop 40% in a week, 30% in a week. I'm more of a Bitcoin and Ethereum guy. So when we look at Ethereum, whole numbers are also very key. I'm going to give you guys a quick lesson here on this video as well as the update. Whole numbers. What's a whole number? $4,000. What's a whole number? $3,000. So look what I'm marking with the horizontal levels. These are like support and resistance. We've talked about this in some of our other videos on this YouTube channel. On the chart, you can see I'm marking horizontal lines. I've marked one at 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, and 4,000. Price right now is testing 3,000, around that 3,000 area. What I could see Ethereum doing at the most is potentially coming to retest this accumulation area down here. What's an accumulation? That is this. It is a consolidation or a sideways phase in price where there's a buildup before it runs up. So we could see there was a big accumulation here on Ethereum for a good amount of time before it ran up. The market still could come and do what we call an accumulation retest. So we could still come all the way down to 2,000 at the worst. You kind of got to be prepared for that. Right now we're testing 3,000. Does $3,000 hold? We could potentially anticipate the $3,000 level holding, but what I like to do is mark halfway. So I'm going to put a marker at 2,500. So now I understand the market still could drop between 3,000, 2,500. I'm not trying to put all my money in at once. I want to average out on these different prices. Imagine if you're the trader who put $10,000 in up here, and now you have no buying power to buy 5,000 here or 2,000 here. You'd be better off buying $2,000 here, $2,000 here, $2,000 here, $2,000 here out of that 10,000. Let's say you had 10,000 to invest. This is not financial advice. I'm just throwing a number out there for educational purposes only. Let's say you had $10,000, right? It would be better to spread that $10,000 into different prices, like 2, 2, 2, 2. There's $8,000 invested. So when price goes up, you average more profit as well. The entry price you get in for crypto is important because that's where you'll get that difference between a 3x, a 4x, and a potential 5x or more. The entry price you get in. If you're buying Ethereum around $4,000 and it goes to 7,000, you're not getting as much of a gain. Or if it goes to 5,000, you're not getting much of a gain. Versus if we go to 2,500, you're gonna get way more of a gain. So guys, lump sum versus DCA, watch the previous video before this, comment on this video, what else you guys would like to see. I've been receiving a lot of messages like, where's Bitcoin at? Where's it going? It's not at 100K yet. I think everybody's getting really impatient because we live in this TikTok era, right? People want change fast, people want new fast, new strategy. And that's why a lot of people aren't able to stay consistent with a strategy in Forex or in crypto or in stocks or in indices, whatever it is you trade, guys. A lot of people in this day and age aren't able to stick consistent with something because every day they're jumping around from strategy to strategy, or they accept losses as something that they're not, right? If a trader loses a trade, they're gonna look at their strategy. Oh, I lost, it's a bad strategy, instead of focusing on the longer term picture. So if there's anything that you guys liked from this video, be sure to drop a comment if there's something else that you would want to see, and remember to like and subscribe for more info like this, guys.